قسمت کا میرے خدا تو اگر دور کر دے اندھیرا تو کیا بات ہے، ہجر کی دھند تاریک راتوں کب وہ حرم میں سویرا تو کیا بات ہے، میری قسمت کا میرے خدا تو اگر دور کر دے اندھیرا تو کیا بات ہے، میرے ہونٹوں پہ ہر دم رہے گونجتے اپنے آقا کی تعریف کے زمزمے، میرے ہونٹوں پہ ہر دم رہے گونجتے اپنے آقا کی تعریف کے زمزمے، اس کے بدلے مجھے حشر اور قبر میں رحمتوں نے ہو گھیرا تو کیا بات ہے، میری قسمت کا میرے خدا تو اگر دور کر دے اندھیرا تو کیا بات ہے، رشک میرے مقدر پہ کرنے لگے سب فرشتے بھی حورے بھی غلمان بھی، رشک میرے مقدر پہ کرنے لگے سب فرشتے بھی حورے بھی غلمان بھی، کملی والے کے قدموں میں یوں جا کے میں ڈال دوں اپنا ڈیرا تو کیا بات ہے، میری قسمت کا میرے خدا تو اگر دور کر دے اندھیرا تو کیا بات ہے، ہجر کی دھند تاریک راتوں کب وہ حرم میں سویرا تو کیا بات ہے، اے خدا جسم پر بازوؤں کی جگہ، اے خدا جسم پر بازوؤں کی جگہ اپنی قدرت سے تو پر لگا دے مجھے، دن کو اڑتا پھروں گرد کعبے کی شب ہو مدینے بسیرا تو کیا بات ہے، میری قسمت کا میرے خدا تو اگر دور کر دے اندھیرا تو کیا بات ہے، سبز گنبد کو مشتاق نظروں سے میں ٹک ٹکی باندھ کر ایسے تکتا رہوں، سبز گنبد کو مشتاق نظروں سے میں ٹک ٹکی باندھ کر ایسے تکتا رہوں، لب پہ صلی اللہ کا میرے ورد ہو دم نکل جائے میرا تو کیا بات ہے، میری قسمت کا میرے خدا تو اگر دور کر دے اندھیرا تو کیا بات ہے، ہجر کی دھند تاریک راتوں کب وہ حرم میں سویرا تو کیا بات ہے، اے خدا اپنے محبوب برحق کی تو خواب میں ہی زیارت کرا دے مجھے، اے خدا اپنے محبوب برحق کی تو خواب میں ہی زیارت کرا دے مجھے، مستحق تو نہیں میں اس احساس کا فصل ہو جائے تیرا تو کیا بات ہے، میری قسمت کا میرے خدا تو اگر دور کر دے اندھیرا تو کیا بات ہے، اب تو جی میں جا کر وہی جا بسوں، موت آئے تو آئے وہیں پر مجھے، اب تو جی میں جا کر وہی جا بسوں، موت آئے تو آئے وہیں پر مجھے، ہو مدینے کی گلیوں کا اس مرتبہ اس طرح کا جو پھیرا تو کیا بات ہے، میری قسمت کا میرے خدا تو اگر دور کر دے اندھیرا تو کیا بات ہے، ہجر کی دھند تاریک راتوں کب وہ حرم میں سویرا تو کیا بات ہے، روز محشر کرم یوں ہو سلمان پر جب پریشان کھڑا ہو وہ میزان پر، روز محشر کرم یوں ہو سلمان پر جب پریشان کھڑا ہو وہ میزان پر، آ کے خود وہ فرشتوں سے کہہ دے وہاں یہ ثنا خواہ ہے میرا تو کیا بات ہے، میری قسمت کا میرے خدا تو اگر دور کر دے میرا تو کیا۔
السلام علیکم ناظرین، ویلکم، خیر مقدم ہے آپ سب کا آج کے ہمارے تفسیر کے قرآن مجید کے تفسیر کے سیشن میں۔ انشاءاللہ ہمارا جو سلسلہ چل رہا تھا سورہ حجرات، قرآن مجید کی 49ویں صورت ہے، اس کا دوسرا رکوع جو آخری رکوع ہے، اور اس کی آخری آیتیں آیت نمبر 13 سے 18 تک ہم اس کی تلاوت کر لیتے ہیں۔ سب سے پہلے اس کی تلاوت کر لیں گے۔ اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم، بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم، قالت الاعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا اسلمنا ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم وإن تطيعوا الله ورسوله ولا يلتكم من أعمالكم شيئا إن الله غفور رحيم. إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون. قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض والله بكل شيء عليم. يمنون عليك أن أسلموا قل لا تمنوا علي إسلامكم بل الله يمن عليكم أن هداكم للإيمان إن كنتم صادقين. إن الله يعلم غيب السماوات والأرض والله بصير بما تعملون. صدق اللہ العظیم۔ یہ تھی آیت نمبر 13 to 18 سورہ حجرات کے دوسرے رکوع کی۔ انشاءاللہ اس کا ٹرانسلیشن پڑھ لیں گے۔ یہ بدوی کہتے ہیں کہ ہم ایمان لائے، ان سے کہو ایمان نہیں لائے بلکہ یوں کہو کہ ہم مطیع ہو گئے، ایمان ابھی تمہارے دلوں میں داخل نہیں ہوا ہے۔ اگر تم اللہ اور اس کے رسول کی فرما برداری اختیار کر لو تو وہ تمہارے اعمال کے اجر میں کوئی کمی نہ کرے گا، یقیناً اللہ بڑا درگزر کرنے والا اور رحیم ہے۔ حقیقت میں تو مومن وہ ہیں جو اللہ اور اس کے رسول پر ایمان لائے، پھر انہوں نے کوئی شک نہ کیا اور اپنی جانوں اور مالوں سے اللہ کی راہ میں جہاد کیا، وہی سچے لوگ ہیں۔ اے نبی صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم، ان مدعیان ایمان سے کہو کیا تم اللہ کو اپنے دین کی اطلاع دے رہے ہو، حالانکہ اللہ زمین اور آسمانوں کی ہر چیز کو جانتا ہے اور وہ ہر شے کا علم رکھتا ہے۔ یہ لوگ تم پر احسان جتاتے ہیں کہ انہوں نے اسلام قبول کر لیا، ان سے کہو اپنے اسلام کا احسان مجھ پر نہ رکھو، بلکہ اللہ تم پر اپنا احسان رکھتا ہے کہ اس نے تمہیں ایمان کی ہدایت دی اگر تم واقعی اپنے دعوی ایمان میں سچے ہو۔ اللہ زمین اور آسمانوں کی ہر پوشیدہ چیز کا علم رکھتا ہے اور جو کچھ تم کرتے ہو وہ سب اس کی نگاہ میں ہے۔ تو یہ تھا ٹرانسلیشن آج کی ان آیتوں کا۔ جیسا کہ آپ جانتے ہیں کہ سورہ حجرات میں اللہ رب العزت نے یعنی کہ مسلمانوں کے لیے، مومنین کے لیے اجتماعی اور انفرادی دونوں معاملات میں اللہ تعالیٰ نے کچھ اخلاق یعنی مومن کے اخلاق اور ان کی حدیں ان سب کو بیان فرمایا ہے۔ اور اللہ رب العزت نے یہاں پہ عرض کیا ہے کہ तुम लोग अगर नबी अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अल्लाह और उसके रसूल से आगे बढ़ोगे तो ऐसा ना हो कि तुम्हारे अमाल अकारत जाएं। तो इससे हमें सबक मिलता है कि अल्लाह और रसूल की जब बात आती है तो उसको हम मुकद्दम रखें, उसके आगे ना बढ़ें। और दूसरी चीज़ अल्लाह ताला ने कहा कि फासिक जो होते हैं वो अल्लाह और उसके रसूल की बात के आगे अपनी चीज़ें निकालते हैं। उसके बाद अल्लाह ताला ने मोमिनीन को ये कहा कि एक दूसरे के लिए यानी कि चुगली ना करें और एक दूसरे से हसद ना करें और एक दूसरे के बारे में ज़्यादा गुमान ना करें, क्योंकि बाज़ गुमान कुफ्र होते हैं। और अल्लाह ताला ने ये भी कहा कि ये जो ख़ानदान, बिरादरियाँ, इस तरह के जो लोगों ने यानी नस्ली और अपने मुल्क की ज़बानी इस तरह के जो डिविज़न्स बना लिए हैं, ये सब डिवीज़न अल्लाह के पास नहीं है। अल्लाह के पास सिर्फ़ 2 डिवीज़न है, एक ईमान वालों की और दूसरे ईमान न लाने वालों की। उसके बाद अल्लाह ताला का यानी कि यहाँ पे कुछ लोगों को यानी उस दौर के बद्दू लोग जो नबी अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के पास आखिरी वक़्त में ईमान लाए थे, उनके बारे में यहाँ पे बताया जा रहा है कि किस तरह से वो अल्लाह के रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का मतलब लिहाज़ ना रखते हुए ये सूरह हुज़ुरात का जो हमने बैकग्राउंड पढ़ा था उसमें एक ये भी है कि कुछ लोग नबी अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को डायरेक्ट आके हुजरे में पुकारा करते थे। तो अल्लाह रब्बुल इज़्ज़त ने उसकी भी तरदीद की है कि किस तरह से अल्लाह के रसूल के साथ पेश आया जाए। तो इंशाल्लाह ये इसकी भी तफसीर पढ़ लेते हैं। ये बदवी कहते हैं कि हम ईमान लाए, इससे मुराद तमाम बदवी नहीं है, बल्कि यहाँ ज़िक्र चंद ख़ास बदवी गिरोहों का हो रहा है, जो इस्लाम में बढ़ती हुई ताकत देखकर महज़ इस ख़याल से मुसलमान हो गए थे कि वो मुसलमानों की ज़रब से महफूज़ भी रहेंगे और इस्लामी फतूहात के क़वाइद से मुतमत्ता भी होंगे। ये लोग हकीकत में सच्चे दिल से ईमान नहीं लाए थे, महज़ ज़बानी इक़रार ईमान करके इन्होंने मसलहतन अपने आप को मुसलमानों में शुमार करा लिया था और इनकी इस बातिनी हालत का राज़ इस वक़्त फ़ाश हो जाता था जब वो रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के पास आकर तरह-तरह के मुतालिबे करते थे और अपना हक़ इस तरह जताते थे कि गोया इन्होंने इस्लाम कबूल करके आप पर बड़ा एहसान किया है। रिवायत में मुतअद्दिद क़बाइली गिरोहों के इस रवैये का ज़िक्र आया है। मसलन मुज़ीना, जहनिया, असलम, अशजी, ग़िफ़ार वग़ैरह। ख़ास तौर पर बनी असद बिन खज़ीमा के मुतालिक इब्न अब्बास और सईद बिन जुबैर का बयान है कि एक मरतबा खुश्क साली के ज़माने में वो मदीना आए और माली मदद का मुतालिबा करते रहे। बार-बार इन्होंने रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से कहा कि हम बगैर लड़े-भड़े मुसलमान हुए हैं। हमने आपसे इस तरह जंग नहीं की जिस तरह फ़लाँ और फ़लाँ कबीलों ने जंग की है। इससे इनका साफ मतलब ये था कि अल्लाह के रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से जंग न करना और इस्लाम कबूल कर लेना इनका एक एहसान है, जिसका माविज़ा इन्हें रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम और अहले ईमान से मिलना चाहिए। अतराफ़ मदीना के बदवी गिरोह का यही वो तर्ज़ अमल है, जिस पर इन आयत में बात ज़्यादा अच्छी तरह समझ आ सकती है। इनसे कहो, ईमान नहीं लाए बल्कि यूँ कहो कि हम मुती हो गए। असल में क़ूलू अस्लमना के अल्फ़ाज़ इस्तेमाल हुए हैं, जिनका दूसरा तर्जुमा ये भी हो सकता है कि कहो हम मुसलमान हो गए हैं। इन अल्फ़ाज़ से बाज़ लोगों ने ये नतीजा निकाल लिया है कि कुरान मजीद की ज़बान में मोमिन और मुस्लिम 2 मुतक़ाबिल इस्लाहें हैं। मोमिन वो है जो सच्चे दिल से ईमान लाया हो और मुस्लिम वो है जिसने ईमान के बगैर महज़ ज़ाहिर में इस्लाम कबूल कर लिया हो। लेकिन दरहकीकत ये ख़याल बिल्कुल गलत है। इसमें शक नहीं कि इस जगह ईमान का लफ्ज़ क़ल्बी तस्दीक़ के लिए और इस्लाम का लफ्ज़ महज़ ज़ाहिरी इताअत के लिए इस्तेमाल हुआ है। मगर ये समझ लेना सही नहीं है कि ये कुरान मजीद की 2 मुस्तक़िल और बाहम मुतक़ाबिल इस्लाहें हैं। कुरान की जिन आयत में इस्लाम और मुस्लिम के अल्फाज इस्तेमाल हुए हैं, इन ततब्बुअ करने से ये बात वाज़ेह हो जाती है कि कुरान की इस्तिलाह में इस्लाम इस दीन हक़ का नाम है जो अल्लाह ने नौ इंसानी के लिए नाज़िल किया। इसके मफ़हूम में ईमान और इताअत अमर दोनों शामिल है और मुस्लिम वो है जो सच्चे दिल से माने और अमलन इताअत करे। मिसाल के तौर पर हस्ब ज़ैल आयत मुलाज़िम हो, इन्नद दीन इंदल्लाहिल इस्लाम, सूरह आल इमरान आयत नंबर 19। यकीनन अल्लाह के नज़दीक दीन सिर्फ इस्लाम है। वमन यब्तगी गैरल इस्लामी दीनन फलन युक़बल मिन्हु, आल इमरान 85। और जो इस्लाम के सिवा कोई और दीन चाहे इसका वो दीन हरगिज़ कबूल ना किया जाएगा। वरदीतु लकुमुल इस्लाम दीना, सूरह माइदा आयत नंबर 3। और मैंने तुम्हारे लिए इस्लाम को दीन की हैसियत से पसंद किया है। वमन युरिदिल्लाहु अन यहदियहु यशरह सद्रह लिल इस्लाम, सूरह अनआम आयत नंबर 125। अल्लाह जिसको हिदायत देना चाहता है इसका सीना इस्लाम के लिए खोल देता है। ज़ाहिर है कि इन आयत में इस्लाम से मुराद इताअत बिल ईमान नहीं है। फिर देखिए जगह-जगह इस मज़मून की आयत आती हैं, कुल इन्नी उमिरतु अन अकूना अव्वला मिन मन अस्लम, सूरह नाम 14। ऐ नबी कहो मुझे ये हुक्म दिया गया है कि सबसे पहले इस्लाम लाने वाला मैं हूँ। फ़इन अस्लमू फ़क़द इह्तदू, सूरह आल इमरान आयत नंबर 20। फिर अगर वो इस्लाम ले आए तो इन्होंने हिदायत पा ली। यहकुमु बिहन नबिय्युनल्लज़ीना अस्लमू, सूरह माइदा आयत नंबर 44। तमाम अंबिया जो इस्लाम लाए थे तौरात के मुताबिक फैसले करते थे। क्या यहाँ और इस तरह के बीसों दूसरे मुकामात पर इस्लाम कबूल करने या इस्लाम लाने का मतलब ईमान के बगैर इताअत इख्तियार कर लेना है? इसी तरह मुस्लिम का लफ्ज़ बार बार जिस माने में इस्तेमाल हुआ है इसके लिए नमूने के तौर पर हस्ब ज़ैल आयत मुलाहिज़ा हो। या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनुत्तकुल्लाह हक़्क़ तुक़ातिही वला तमुतुन्ना इल्ला व अंतुम मुस्लिमून, आल इमरान आयत नंबर 102। ऐ लोगों जो ईमान लाए हो अल्लाह से डरो जैसा कि इससे डरने का हक है और तुमको मौत न आए मगर इस हाल में कि तुम मुस्लिम हो। हुआ सम्माकुमुल मुस्लिमीन मिन क़ब्लु व फ़ी हाज़ा, सूरह हज आयत नंबर 78। इसने तुम्हारा नाम पहले भी मुस्लिम रखा था और इस किताब में भी। अकान इब्राहिम यहूदियों वला नसरानियों वलाकिन कान हनीफम मुस्लिमा, सूरह आल इमरान आयत नंबर 67। इब्राहिम अलैहिस्सलाम ना यहूदी था ना नसरानी बल्कि वो एक सू मुस्लिम था। रब्बना वजअलना मुस्लिमीन लक व मिन ज़ुर्रिय्यतिना उम्मतन मुस्लिमतन लक, सूरह बकरा आयत नंबर 128। तामीर काबा के वक्त हजरत इब्राहिम और वह इस्माइल अलैहिस्सलाम की दुआ, ऐ हमारे रब हम दोनों को अपना मुस्लिम बना और हमारी नस्ल से एक ऐसी उम्मत पैदा कर जो तेरी मुस्लिम हो। या बनिय्य इन्नल्लाह अस्तफ़ा लकुमुद्दीन फला तमुतुन्ना इल्ला व अंतुम मुस्लिमून, सूरह बकरा आयत नंबर 132। हज़रत याकूब अलैहिस्सलाम की वसीयत अपनी औलाद को, ऐ मेरे बच्चों अल्लाह ने तुम्हारे लिए यही दिन पसंद किया है बस तुमको मौत न आए मगर इस हाल में कि तुम मुस्लिम हो। इन आयत को पढ़कर आखिर कौन ये ख्याल कर सकता है कि इनमें मुस्लिम से मुराद वो शख्स है जो दिल से ना माने बस ज़ाहिरी तौर पर इस्लाम कबूल कर ले। इसलिए ये दावा करना कतई गलत है कि कुरान की इस्तिलाह में इस्लाम से मुराद इताअत बिल ईमान है और मुस्लिम कुरान की ज़बान में महज बज़ाहिर इस्लाम कबूल कर लेने वाले को कहते हैं। इस तरह ये दावा करना भी गलत है कि ईमान और मोमिन के अल्फाज कुरान मजीद में लाजिमन सच्चे दिल से मानने ही के माने में इस्तेमाल हुए हैं। बिलाशुबा अक्सर मकामात पर ये लफ्ज़ अल्फाज इसी मफहूम के लिए आए हैं लेकिन बकसरत मकामात ऐसे भी हैं जहाँ ये अल्फाज ज़ाहिर इकरार ईमान के लिए भी इस्तेमाल किए गए हैं। और या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू कहकर इन सब लोगों को खिताब किया गया है जो ज़बानी इकरार करके मुसलमानों के ग्रुप में शामिल हुए हों, क़तई नज़र इससे कि वो सच्चे मोमिन हों या ज़ईफ़ुल ईमान या महज़ मुनाफ़िक। इसकी बहुत सी मिसालों में से सिर्फ चंद के लिए मुलाहिज़ा हो, आले इमरान आयत 156, सूरह निसा आयत नंबर 136, सूरह माइदा आयत नंबर 54, सूरह अनफ़ाल आयत नंबर 20 टू 27, सूरह तौबा आयत नंबर 38, सूरह अल हदीद आयत नंबर 28, सूरह साफ आयत नंबर 2। ईमान अभी तुम्हारे दिलों में दाखिल नहीं हुआ है। अगर तुम अल्लाह और इसके रसूल की फर्माबरदारी इख्तियार कर लो तो वो तुम्हारे अमाल के अजर में कोई कमी ना करेगा। यकीनन अल्लाह बड़ा दरगुजर करने वाला और रहीम है। हकीकत में तो मोमिन वो हैं जो अल्लाह और इसके रसूल पर ईमान लाए फिर इन्होंने कोई शक न किया और अपनी जानों और मालों से अल्लाह की राह में जिहाद किया। वही सच्चे लोग हैं। ऐ नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम मुद्दयान ईमान से कहो क्या तुम अल्लाह को अपने दीन की इत्तला दे रहे हो? हालांकि अल्लाह ज़मीन और आसमानों की हर चीज़ को जानता है और वो हर शय का इल्म रखता है। ये लोग तुम पर एहसान जताते हैं कि इन्होंने इस्लाम कबूल कर लिया। इनसे कहो अपने इस्लाम का एहसान मुझ पर न रखो बल्कि अल्लाह तुम पर अपना एहसान रखता है कि इसने तुम्हें ईमान की हिदायत दी। अगर तुम वाकई अपने दावाई ईमान में सच्चे हो अल्लाह ज़मीन और आसमान की हर पोशीदा चीज़ का इल्म रखता है और जो कुछ तुम करते हो वो सब इसकी निगाह में है। तो ये थी तफसीर इन आयतों की। इस तरह से सूरह हुजरात मुकम्मिल हुआ। इंशाल्लाह हम इसके बाद वाली सूरत के साथ इंशाल्लाह कल के सेशन में हाजिर होते हैं। जज़ाकल्लाह खैर।
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There was a bit of a technical glitch. I don't know what happened, that I wasn't able to speak to Nizam Bhai, and he wasn't able to listen in to me as well. So hope everyone is doing well. It is, what date is now? 11th of December. And we are obviously slowly moving towards the end of the year now. Very soon we are going to be at 31st of December, and then hopefully a new year will start, and we'll have hopefully new advancements, and the gradual changes that we've seen across in 2020, they start to fade away, let's call it, and we see hopefully a much more better life in general in 2021 to what we've seen this year. So as we do every Friday, I think we try and just kind of wrap up some of the key things happening all across the world, some of the in a way updates that are happening currently, the news that is out there, and really in a way share a bit of a wrap up of how things are happening and how things are shaping up from the last week, as well as for probably the coming weeks as well. So that's obviously in motion, and probably the biggest news item of this week, as many of you might be following it quite closely, and many of you might have seen it in action. It's been reported very heavily. It's been reported across a number of different news outlets, sources, and everything else, is about the vaccine. So the first human conduction or human kind of dosage of vaccine was administered on Tuesday this week in UK. There was a lady up in Stoke. She was administered the vaccine, and after 21 days, as we know that this new vaccine works on a 21-day period, after 21 days, she will be having her second dose of the vaccine, so that hopefully she is in a more kind of a secure pattern, and she develops the antibodies in her vaccine in her body as well against this coronavirus. But obviously, as with anything, when something happens, there are some side effects. Now, with the vaccine, there have been some allergy warnings, especially for the people who have been so far exposed to this vaccine. It's been mentioned that some of the National Health Service workers in UK actually came up with allergic reactions. And hence, so far, the advice has been that people who are really allergic to anything, so any kind of skin rash, breathlessness, and all those sort of things, that they get any allergic reaction from, either from foods or anything else, they are advising at the moment that they should not be taking this vaccine, or they should be in a way careful with how this vaccine is administered upon them. But generally, I think this is quite a good story in essence, that many people who are administered with the vaccine in any given week start to build immunity within a week. And then after the second dose of the vaccine, as you can see on the chart on your screen as well, there's expectation that after 28 days of this administration of the vaccine, there is going to be full immunity across the body of anyone who is being administered with the vaccine as well. So at the moment, it's being rolled out to very high risk individuals, 85 plus year old in UK, then people who are involved with the health services in UK, National Health Services staff, some of the GPs and doctors in different areas have been identified as the people who will receive the preferential treatment for this vaccine and will have the vaccine before anyone else. So it is going to be rolled out, but not essentially at the same speed for everyone. It will be a slow rollout for many of the people across UK, and obviously beyond that as well. So yeah, it's a slow thing that is going to happen over a period of time. Some other news coming out from Iran is the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, as he is known. He's been reported as very seriously ill at the moment. He's obviously 81 years of age, and he's been obviously the leader, the supreme leader of Iran for a while now, since his Ruhollah Khomeini he passed away. Ali Khamenei has been obviously the supreme leader, Ayatollah, as it is known as in Iran, and it is being reported that he's severely sick at the moment. So obviously speculation has started to develop that in case he passes away, who will be the next supreme leader? There are a number of different things. The way Ayatollah is elected, or supreme leader is elected, is that it is elected by a body of assembly of experts, as it is known in Iran. These are about 88 really qualified ulama and experts in different domains who come together and they select the leader, the supreme leader. These 88 people are elected after every 8 years, and all the candidates have actually to be vetted and approved by the Guardian Council, Rahbar Council, as it is known, so that no one from any stature that is expected to be a member of this council comes below from that part. So the speculation is there that if in case Ayatollah Khomeini passes away, Ali Khamenei basically passes away, who would be the next leader? Most of the people are expecting his son, Mujtaba Khamenei, to be the next Ayatollah in case he passes away. Mujtaba Khamenei, he's about 51 years of old. He's been very well known in the Iranian circles, a close follower of his father, obviously a very, in a sense, very close to his father, who's the current supreme leader of Iran. And then I think it's in any essence, he's probably one of the first people who is being touted in case Ali Khamenei passes away to be the next Ayatollah. Apart from him, there's obviously some speculation that Ibrahim Raisi, who was born in Mashhad, potentially can become the supreme leader as well. He's a chief justice or chief judge in a way at the moment in Iran. And there is speculation that people might actually choose him or elect him as the new supreme leader. So again, we hope and we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him shifa, gives him quick recovery. But as with any prominent leader of any country, when they are ill, speculation comes into play of who might actually be the next leader, or the supreme leader in this case, in the country of Iran. So that's again quite a major impact it can have on somebody who comes in as a new Ayatollah or as a new supreme leader, can have a certain degree of influence on the policies of Iran. And via Iran, obviously, the policies are going to impact the wider Middle East scenarios. And as the impact in the Middle East is closely linked to Pakistan and some of the wider geopolitical events of the world as well. So this is something to keep an eye on. And it is going to be quite an interesting phase in the coming weeks and months. Another very famous person who passed away during the last few weeks, Diego Maradona, one of the most famous footballers of the world. Diego Maradona passed away quite recently at the age of 60, about 2 weeks ago. And obviously, not only he was the football megastar of Argentina, but because of his exploits on the global scale of football, playing for Barcelona, being a World Cup winner, really talented on the field, a very, very strong character off the field. He's obviously known as a very much of a cultural hero in Argentina and Latin America, beyond that as well. And at the moment, as you can see, many people are proposing that he should be appearing on the banknotes. So one of the Argentinian senators have suggested that Maradona should appear on the 100 pesos note in Argentina, so that, or 1,000 pesos, sorry, if it has been passed by the Congress in Argentina, then Maradona would start to appear on one side of the note with one of his goals, famous goals, hand of God goal, as it's known, on the other side of the banknote as well. So again, Maradona was world famous. Is still, if somebody is compared to as the best in football, he's obviously compared to either Maradona or Pele from Brazil. So quite an important character and quite a fiery character on a global scale. Beyond that, beyond the stories of people being ill and everything else. Obviously, one thing that Time magazine has started this year for the very first time is to name Kid of the Year. Time, as many of you might be well aware of it, has been naming Person of the Year or Man of the Year or Person of the Year for quite some time. Many famous people have appeared as the Time magazine's Person of the Year. It's been Mohammed Morsi has been one of the people, Imran Khan has been one of the people, Mandela, any famous person you would imagine, I reckon, who've had a very good influence or a great influence in some way or form across the world have been named as the magazine's Person of the Year. And this year they've now started Kid of the Year. And the first one they've chosen is Gitanjali Rao, who is actually a scientist. She's been inventing quite a number of technologies and devices over the last few years, and she's still only 15. So she's been chosen as one of the Kids of the Year on Time magazine. And it is hoped that via her being named as the Kid of the Year, she would be able to inspire, in a way, number of other kids and other people to come forward and take part in sciences and become, in a way, more influential in some way or form in how they are able to take it out to the market, to the wider worlds, basically. So in a way, I think in essence, she's been really on the invention train. She's been inventing so many places. She lives in Flint. She's been living in US for a while. And obviously she's been named as the first kid and the youngest person ever to be named as the kind of chosen as the youngest person to be the name of the person, Man of the Year or Kid of the Year from Times magazine. So again, this is quite a different, inspiring story in a way of how kids can also create an impact and really become, in a way, influencers all across the world in some way or form, so that they can be recognized and accepted by magazines such as Time. Moving on, quite a very strange case that's coming in, and it's not as strange as it is becoming a lot more prevalent in terms of corruption and money laundering and all the methods and approaches of earning beyond means or earning in some way or form, which shouldn't be in a more justified manner. And this time it's implicated the CAF president, the current CAF president, Confederation of African Football President Ahmed. So in a way, I think it's quite shocking, all the details of different corruption that's coming to light now in terms of kickbacks, money laundered, wrongful use of expenses, and all that sort of stuff. But quite a stark one in this regards is a whole series of umrahs that were actually organized for a number of people in February of 2018, as you can see. Union of Arab Football Association invited Ahmed and Africa's FA presidents to undertake a umrah to Mecca. It was stated as a personalized invitation by Ahmed to the Muslim presidents of the African Football Associations. But if you read the news and kind of read more details, it was actually expensed as a very different category within the records, and the payments were made in that manner. So this is quite a shocking thing, that in essence more than $900,000 or up to $100,000 were actually used for this Umrah trip, which were used in a way in a wrongful manner to justify expenses for a different category, but accounted under this trip as expenses, which is quite shocking, as you would imagine that anyone would think of going to that great place and conducting that pilgrimage in the rightful manner. But again, as it has been reported so far, no one knows. Obviously, it will be investigated, and then the right thing will be brought to light of everyone. But it is quite a shocking, startling revelation that has come through in this domain. Moving on to New Zealand. So many of you might remember the massive earthquake that hit Christchurch back in 2011. There was a massive earthquake in New Zealand, Christchurch. And one of the things was the city's cathedral that was actually just left as is because it was badly damaged, and it was damaged so much that people were afraid of actually going in and pretty much recovering it as such. So it's been same on the day as it was kind of on the day when the earthquake struck. So for the last 10 years, it's been literally the same as is. Now a drone was sent into the building, and it conducted different views of the cathedral, as you can see on your screen, that these are drone footages rather than any human stepping into the building. They sent out a drone to see what the structure is like and how it can be salvaged, if it can be, by any means. So now they have a drone in the building. They're trying to get a view. They're trying to get something organized to make sure that in some way or form we actually can recover that building if at all possible. And now the efforts are underway to see if the rubble can be taken off and the building can be restored in some way or form. But again, it is such a stark reminder with all the technologies and everything that we hold in this world, there are still limitations to what we can do. So such a big city in the middle of New Zealand, Christchurch, so much resources available, but this church has been same as it is for the last 10 years because people have been not been able to walk into the building because of its structure and start the restoration. So quite a stark reminder of the limitations of human feats that we can achieve in some way or form. So that's Christchurch, that's happening, and they are trying to see if they can recover the building in some way or form, and obviously trying to build and rebuild and reconstruct the building in some way or form. To make it better again for the different people who used to come in. Moving on to Lebanon. In Lebanon, Salim Ayash has been, in essence, indicted and sentenced for killing Rafiq Hariri, who was the ex-prime minister of Lebanon. He was killed in a bomb attack in 2005. It was such a massive bomb attack in Beirut that it is known that it is one of the massive blasts that have been ever seen in anywhere. Obviously, Rafiq Hariri was a prime minister for a very, very long time. He's a very famous leader of Lebanon, and he was a billionaire who served as a prime minister 5 times from 1975 to 1990. His last term ended in 2004, and then obviously he was in opposition when he was blown up into this massive bomb blast that is now being recorded as being set up by these individuals, Salim Ayash. He's obviously still on the run, but he's been given a life sentence on the back of killing Rafiq Hariri in this bomb blast. So Allah knows best the reality of what the kind of on-the-ground reality was. But obviously that's one of the things that have been reported and conducted by the court in Lebanon as well. Closer to UK, one of the biggest issues in UK at the moment is obviously Brexit. So 31st of December is the deadline of the extended transition agreement that was there on Brexit. So anyone who obviously probably might have forgotten, in 2008, basically 2018, in the referendum that was held on the Brexit issue, the UK voted to leave the European Union, which has been conveniently called as Brexit or British exit from the European Union. It was entered into a transitional agreement till the end of December in 2020. And now the transitional agreement period is also coming to an end. So there's a massive effort to bring in any degree of a deal between European Union and United Kingdom. Negotiations have been ongoing, discussions have been ongoing between Britain, Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been in Brussels many times, spoken to leaders of Germany, of France, and Italy, and all the others. And this is an ongoing discussion at the moment. So let's see how this shapes up. Let's see how this thing is going to tackle. At the moment, it feels like that there isn't going to be any deal at the end of 31st January. And many of the things that are going to change, obviously, are traveling. If anyone has to visit from UK to any EU country, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, or Liechtenstein, they will need a bit of passport time. They will need a travel insurance. They need extra driving documents, and there might be some more, in a way, let's call it more guidance coming through. Free roaming might be ending in essence. At the border control, people will have to go with all the nations other than the Schengen area. At the moment, many people would imagine that they can straight away go into the Schengen or UK business lines, UK passport lines, and they will get through. But now they have to join a different queue. In essence, duty-free shopping will return. If people are traveling to EU, you were not allowed to bring unlimited amounts of tobacco and all that sort of stuff. So that's going to change. There's going to be a lot more paperwork. There's going to be a lot more bureaucracy, and there'll be a lot more immigration system changes that are going to be coming through as well. So yeah, this is going to be very different for both European Union and the let's call it the Britain country itself on how things are going to be after Brexit. So we hope things get better and they don't take a turn for the worst. But at the moment, this is how things are shaping up. One of the obviously another important development in the Middle East was Morocco today recognized Israel. So they established their diplomatic ties. It was again facilitated by United States. Donald Trump announced it, that Morocco has now established diplomatic ties with Israel. And in return, the United States basically recognized Morocco's claim over the Western Sahara region, which has been seen as pretty much independent for quite a while now. But now with Morocco recognizing Israel, US recognized their claim over this region, which has been quite a conflict point for some time. But now, obviously, as we know, the push by the countries in the Middle East to start recognizing Israel is becoming a major point of foreign intervention by US into those regions and how they are shaping up for the future. So it feels like more and more countries are recognizing Israel, and feels like there's a bit of a leeway given by US in certain areas. If there are areas that they have done away with sanctions, if they have recognized their territory domains and all that. So it's going to be a bit of a different scenario in Middle East in the coming weeks. But then again, Donald Trump is finishing his term on 21st of January. Come 22nd of January, once the new President Joe Biden is in place, it might look completely different. So it's very interesting at the moment how foreign affairs are playing up, but we have to keep an eye out to see how things shape up. One of the other things I think in essence is the Boeing planes, as many of the 737 MAX planes, many of you might recall, had been suffering from quite a number of accidents in March in 2019 and 2020. The planes were grounded since March 2019 when 2 deadly crashes that nearly killed about 350 odd people. So this is the first time now the Boeing 737 MAX jumbo jet will be reintroduced into service by Brazil's Gol airline. So they will resume commercial flights with 737 MAX. It's been taken off after a bit of an overhaul of all the planes in some way or form. So it's quite shocking in a way how some of the safety features were completely ignored in 737 MAX originally. But now they've been reassessed, overhauled, and hopefully it becomes a lot more safer as a plane compared to any one of the other planes that we see out there. So that was again a quick overview, some highlights, some high-level stuff of what's happening across the world, and just few updates from all across the world. I hope you found them useful, and we'll inshallah continue with our daily transmission as we've been doing since March. Now it's nearly end of the year. We started back in March, and then now it's well over 8 months that we've been running with this one, nearly on a daily basis, either as a full live session or a pre-recorded session. So we hopefully, inshallah, will continue with this as long as we can. But tomorrow you will see and hear about the book discussions, and obviously you will hear about the tafsir from Nizam Bhai. And then on Sunday, you will have the marriages special session as is always organized by Shamsab. So inshallah, till then, assalamu alaikum, and we'll see you soon.